Hey, I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute. I have a great comedian named Zack Hammond with me today. Zack, how in the hell are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
It's great. It's great to have you here. And I think, Zack, if I'm right, you're in Pennsylvania.
Unfortunately, yeah, I am.
Yeah, I'm in York, Pennsylvania, where the men are men and the sheep are scared.
Oh,
I
I'm
do.
in Northeast Pennsylvania where the alcoholics reign supreme. So,
Okay. Well, here in York, I do a bit about that. I don't care if you're asexual, bisexual, pansexual, lesbian, gay, trans. Here in York, Pennsylvania, a guy fucked a sheep.
yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, that is a fact. I do it as a bit, but it's also, it's fact.
Oh, yeah, people have been fucking animals forever though. Like that's if you're out in the middle of nowhere and nobody's gonna tell,
Yeah, I guess.
like
I
why
guess.
not? I wouldn't do it, but I
No,
don't
me
blame
neither. I kind of
people.
like women.
I remember when I was younger, like in my
I
like
thought you
when I
were
was
going to
like
tell me when
10
you
or
were
something.
younger you did the cat or a dog or something.
No, I mean, let me get there first. No, I remember my grandmother like talking about like it's fine to fuck a sheep. Men do it all the time because they can't get women. And then she pointed at my grandfather and said, "You did it all the time, right, Ronnie?" And he was like, "I should have killed you years ago. Like, why the fuck are you saying this shit out loud?" That's my upbringing. So
I
I've
love
I've
it. I
heard
love it.
I've heard everything. There's nothing I haven't
That's great.
heard that's gonna make me go,
Well,
"Whoa."
let's cover a little stuff. Now, you're in Pennsylvania now, but you were from Maryland. Is that right? Originally
That
from
is
Maryland?
correct. Yes,
Okay.
Frederick County, Montgomery County, and that general area.
Yeah, I'm like the opposite. I was born and raised in York,
Hmm.
Pennsylvania, but I spent a lot of my life down in Maryland.
Okay.
And I noticed it will tie right into this. A lot of your videos, like I've seen some videos from Texas, and you've toured all over the country.
Yes, yes, I have. I've been. I'm like 10 states short of all the states.
Yeah, I've been in about 30, and I was
Nice.
about 30 or so of the 50 states. But I wanted to ask you because the first time I was in North Carolina,
Hmm.
that's the first time I ever heard the word fixing. Hey, buddy, ain't nobody fixing to do nothing quick around here.
Yeah.
And the cultural differences once you get below Richmond or,
Hmm.
depending on where you're at, you have to adjust your act, don't you? Or no?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I've traveled around enough that I've been able to kind of adjust my act so that it's as appealing as it can be everywhere.
Okay.
There's not too many references that I make where people aren't going to get them, or if I say
Right.
something, people aren't going to go along with me. But that's
Okay.
also how I start the act as well. Like,
Okay.
I try to do my best to get everybody on my side up front within the first
Okay.
10 to 15 minutes. And then
Sure.
from there, it's like, now I'm just going to go into whatever territory
Sure.
I want because I've earned their trust, I've earned their respect.
Right.
They know I'm not going to take them anywhere that they're not going to get something out of. And they know that no matter what direction it seems like I'm going in, there's going to be a punchline. There's going to be a laugh
Right.
somewhere
Right.
in there that's going to justify the weird shit that I'm saying.
The build up. Well,
Yeah.
let's just go back a little bit because uh well, I want to talk about welfare in disguise. That's your latest, well, or at least one of your latest things. And it's on
Yeah.
what, 4x3, because I had to look for it because I'll talk about your YouTube channel and your other links,
Hmm.
but that has 22,000 views already.
Yeah. It's
Amazing
doing all
job.
right. Yeah.
Amazing. Kudos to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that that actually got some traction because there's stuff that they've produced that's gotten a little bit of traction. There's stuff that's gotten a ton of attraction. That's like right in the middle, and I'm happy with that because
Well,
I
it looked to
know,
me like it was one of the better performing videos they've ever done.
no, it definitely is.
Yeah, I mean, the other ones are like a couple thousand. You're at 22 grand.
Oh yeah, no, it's fantastic. I mean, but I'm also I get in my head about all of that shit because
Do you?
the, well, it's luckily so they produced it and they put it out there, so it's on their channel.
Right.
So I'm not seeing all of the metrics on it, which is
Right.
definitely better for me.
Yeah.
Because on my own channel, like I see all the metrics, I
I
see
have that. If
everything.
you don't mind, let me interrupt real quick.
Yeah,
Your YouTube channel has 103 subscribers.
yeah,
100 no, I have it written down here, 100 or 94 videos and 95,824 views.
yeah,
But like you said, I almost had to go look for your channel. Uh,
right.
maybe you put the links in the on your Facebook, and or are you on
Hmm.
Instagram and TikTok?
Oh yeah, I'm on all the
Okay,
platforms.
well, I'll include all those links when I air this because
Okay.
exposure is everything.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But tell the people about the welfare in disguise, because that's a great special you put together.
I love doing it. That started like the material itself because I took a lot of inspiration from like Bill Burr, Louis C.K., Patton
Right.
Oswalt, George Carlin, to once I do an hour, I record it, I either put it on an album or
Okay.
wherever, and then when I do that, I don't do the material anymore because I don't want to just keep reverting back to the same things. I want to push myself to create new stuff.
Okay.
So I had around the time of the pandemic, when everything just went to shit,
Yeah.
um, I was getting out a little bit doing like outdoor shows and parking lot shows,
Right.
and that's when I started that hour. And I pretty much toured for 3 years straight, just working out that hour and making it as
Okay.
good as I possibly could. And there's a lot of dark shit in that hour that
Yeah, no,
was
I could
not,
tell. I only got to
yeah.
watch a little bit because we just, decided to
Mhm.
do this, but I could tell it was right after COVID or right around COVID, a lot
Yeah.
of the material.
Yeah. And a lot of it was like personal material. Depending on your point of view, there's a great or horrible story about me getting canceled
Go
because
ahead. No, tell the people. I want to hear it.
no, it was around the time that they were talking about overturning Roe v. Wade. It hadn't been overturned yet,
Okay.
and people were talking about the importance of being allowed to get an abortion, which I'm all for. I don't care.
Right.
But somebody had made a comment on Facebook about how between her and her new husband, they had 6 kids between the two of them, and then they had to go through all of these fertility treatments, going to doctor's visits and ignoring their living children just so they could have a new kid between the two of them, and they got pregnant, and then eventually they had to terminate the pregnancy because the kid had like severe spina bifida. And everybody's on Facebook giving them praise and complimenting them about how they're
Right.
so brave to let their personal life out there. And I decided to be a troll, and I was like, "You had 6 already? You're kind of greedy, don't you think?" Which was the way fucking wrong thing to
Yeah,
say.
no, I saw that coming. I saw that coming down the road.
Yeah,
You were
and
setting it
they
up. I said, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
and all of their friends came at me.
Oh yeah,
And
I'll
the
bet.
worst thing I said was I had a big long conversation with them in the comment section,
Oh man.
and then they posted it on my Facebook wall. And just to
Oh
be a
no.
dick, I was like, if you're trying to convince people that know me that I'm an asshole, the secret's
Yeah.
out.
I'm not
And
trying to
they,
be an asshole. Well, then you're
yeah,
gifted. You're gifted.
and they
You're not
said, I
even, that's a
just,
Ron White bit. You're not even
yeah,
trying. Well, then you're gifted.
no. And the worst part about it was they said, I just want to make it clear. And I told them it was as clear as your friend's empty womb, which was a
Oh,
way wrong thing to say. And I did this all
God
online
almighty.
thinking there's no real repercussions for this. And they ended up contacting all the venues that I was playing at for like 3 months. And all the venues canceled my shows because these fucking
No,
people told
no
them that
shit.
he was mean to me online.
Oh
And
man.
I'm not saying there shouldn't be consequences for things that you say. That's not what I'm saying. My issue has always been that you weren't even going to come to the show.
Yeah,
So
right,
what do
right,
you give a shit what I say to people? If people want to come out and hear me, that's their prerogative. To get something canceled and stopped because you didn't like it, that's beyond narcissism. And that's the thing that pissed me off. And I mean, there's more jokes in it than that. But
right. No,
like
no,
that's
I
what
love
happened.
Zach. I love you already. Like, just no, I do because just because you got to hear this. My own brother. Okay, I've lost
Yeah.
most of my friends. I started this 4 years
Hmm.
ago. I got fired for telling jokes in my job, and I started your comedy minute. And I
Yeah.
don't have a clue. I'm no great comedian. I've met a lot of great comedians. I'm like you. I've been studying. You've been doing it 14 years, but I
Yeah.
just wanted you to hear this because, like, you got canceled because of that. I did a joke about grandma's pussy,
Okay.
which, okay, here, I have actually a couple of grandma, but this one, well, I'm not sure if it's this one or the other. My brother said he threw something at his television.
Yeah.
Uh, what, what's worse than going down on your grandmother?
Hmm.
Banging your head on the lid of the casket when you're coming up.
All
See,
right.
now that's like
Yeah.
what you did there with, but there are people that hear that and go, "You're a fucking asshole. I hate
Right.
you. Rotten hell, you rat prick."
Yeah.
You know, and that's
And
my brother's stance. He hates me now. He doesn't talk to me.
that's a shame. But I mean, also it's I don't begrudge people for getting angry at that shit. Like everybody
Right.
has their own line of decency, all of that.
Sure.
That's fine. And I only consider it a cancel story only because it's a term that everybody would understand. Like I think
Right.
I'm still working. Like nothing bad happened. I just dealt with shit for a couple months.
Yeah.
And also, if those are people that don't like, I'm glad I got those people out of my life in that
Yeah.
sense. That, okay, fine, you weren't going to come and see me anyways.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit that
Screw you.
you
Yeah.
don't like me. Right. Like, that's like everybody has their own line of decency and what they accept to be, tolerable, blah, 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 blah,
Right. Right.
whatever.
Right.
It's good to get those people out of the way because those people also will put you in front of people that do like you because
Right.
it's like, what are they getting so mad at? Like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Like, relax. Like, it's a two-way street. Don't post shit online and not expect to get some pushback from people, even if it's a good thing. Don't expect people not to be just fucking mean assholes. And I've learned my lesson. I don't post shit unless it's just promoting. I don't talk to people on Facebook anymore because
Yeah.
it's not worth it. There's no benefit to starting arguments with people. There's
Right.
no benefit to try and educate people, whatever the fuck that means.
Right.
It's better to just live your life and ignore that shit and only use it to promote. Because you're
Well,
just gonna get shit for it otherwise.
Ricky Gervais, and ever since I saw it, it has been
Hmm.
kind of my mantra. Is because like with Dave Chappelle and the trans thing, and
Right.
different things that I've done. I stopped doing. I did it early on, but I stopped.
Hmm.
And because I don't want to get. I don't care about getting canceled. Fuck, I don't care.
Right.
But Ricky Gervais said you can joke about anything you want,
Hmm.
but you have to be prepared for the ramifications of doing
Yes.
that. And then
100%.
somebody just told me the other night that he said jokes about the Holocaust are better than the actual Holocaust.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's
Like,
like, boom, light bulb went off my head. It's like, you're getting upset because I did a blind joke or an orphan joke.
right.
And it's like, the world we're living in now is so, you better take over. I'm flying on
Oh, I
fumes
don't
right now.
no, the thing I don't think that it's as bad as people think it is. I think social media is as bad as they think
Yeah,
it is because again, I go on the road. I don't have a lot of pushback from people for the things that I
right.
say, and I say ridiculous shit all the time. It's the fact that social media, the internet, whatever you want to call it, gives you the ability to find your own ilk, to find your own like that you can glom together and go after shit together.
Yeah.
Whereas most people don't, most people just want to live their fucking lives. They don't care if you're offensive. They don't care what you hate. They don't care what you love. They just want to live their goddamn lives. Social media gives you the ability to bitch about something. And it's been proven that the algorithms will bump up things that upset you more than make you happy.
Well,
So the
and
entire internet's designed to piss you off.
they
So,
have courage they'll tell me you're a fat old fuck. Quit, you
right.
old fuck, you old fat fuck, get off the
Yeah.
porch. I've heard it all.
Yeah.
And my friend who I was working this morning, he put hats. I finally got hats, your Comedy Minute hats in the store.
Hmm.
And I'm so blessed. Thanks to David Snowden for that. I want to give him a shout out. But
Hmm.
he says to me all the time, Scotty, your trolls are the fucking best.
Yeah.
You're like, I even have a video up if we get a chance to look at Haven Riney. He trolled me for about 2 months
Yeah.
that he hated me, and he went
Hmm.
at length to tell
Yeah.
people how bad I sucked.
The fact that you get to occupy that much space in somebody's head, though, like it's fascinating.
Yeah, oh
'Cause
yeah,
that's the thing. People will hate you without regard. Like I've said before, you don't have to beg for a bad review. You have to beg for good reviews. Like people won't like unless
yeah,
you have like a strong fan base. People don't tell people how much they love you, but they will go out of their way for
yeah.
free to tell everybody how much they hate something.
Well, it's bigger news. It's bigger. It's like I worked in the music business, and I
Yeah.
partnered up with Island Records, U2 had just put out a record. And
Okay.
we had a combination. We had a Salt and Pepper record, my little label that I was working with. So we were on this conference call, and he was talking about the new U2 album. And he said,
Hmm.
everyone's saying it's shit because
Yeah.
it's more news to say that the U2 album is a piece of shit than to
Hmm.
say that it's a good record. And he was
Yeah.
right. Now, I didn't like it. I don't like U2. So,
Yeah.
no, I don't. I just don't. Fuck you
That's
too.
fair.
Fuck you too.
That's fair. I agree.
Fuck
But
you too. No, I just don't. But he was right. And you were, that's why I had to tell that story because you were so on point that it's bigger news to say, I went and saw Zack Hammond and he sucked.
yeah.
Then there's another analogy where it takes like 10 people, nine of them, to get one to say,
Hmm.
something good.
Yeah. Well, also the irony is the fact that when you're telling people how much you hate something, on one level, you don't want whatever you hate, you're not wanting to get attention because you don't like it so much and you don't want it to be successful. But by
Right.
going out of your way to tell people how much you hate it, you're actually getting more people to look at it and the potential for it to grow.
That's a great point, Zach.
Like,
That's a great point.
what the craziest thing was, and regardless of what your opinion of the matter was, when all that shit happened with Louis C.K. and he started playing venues again,
Yeah.
there were people going out of the way to go, Louis C.K. is a piece of shit. He's a
It
cocksucker. He
pervert.
should
Yeah.
never perform again.
Yeah.
He'll be playing at this theater at 8 o'clock on March the 2nd. And it's like, if you don't want him to be successful, don't fucking tell
Yeah.
people where to find him. Like
Yeah. I had a
it
comedian.
blows my fucking mind.
I had a comedian on, and his name's Brad Goss. I don't know
Hmm.
if you ever heard of Brad. He does these children's books, and
Okay.
they're not really like it's called My Big Black Cock
Okay.
or My Cunt, my cunt, my clit's hard to find.
Yeah.
Mike Lit, and so they're dirty, nasty. And someone wrote, "You better stay the fuck away from my kids, buddy." And he wrote, "Send me your address and I'll be sure to stay away from there."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God, Brad. Brad's got it down as far as, trolls and people that are just stupid."
Well, yeah, because I mean, there is definitely there's two real ways to deal with it. You can either go at them as hard as they're coming at
He
you,
goes hard.
or just ignore them. For me,
Yeah.
it's easier to just ignore people because I don't care for the shitstorm
Yeah.
that it ends up
Brad
causing.
Brad loves confrontation. Brad loves to
Oh
mess
yeah,
with.
I don't. I really don't. I can take care of myself, but I don't like confrontation. I
No,
fucking hate
I
it.
don't. I'll tell you what's happened to me real quick. On Threads all of a sudden, because I do everything. I do Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram,
Mhm.
Reddit, everywhere I can, to try and get people to watch my stuff.
Of course.
And on Threads, I went from like 100 and some followers last week to now I
Mhm.
have 3,600 followers. And
Excellent.
they're all what they, if you've ever heard the term pig butchering. They're
Mhm.
all young girls. Hey, you look good. And you're handsome.
Okay.
And I'm like, you need glasses, honey.
Right.
Hey, can we be friends? Sure. Send me $25. I'm kind of
Right.
having fun with it because it's like, are you out of your mind? Can I send you
Yeah.
money? Sure.
No, those things are so, I keep getting text messages and like calls from my dad because he's like, somebody keeps calling me from the mediation department that you're in trouble. I'm like, that's a scam. He's like, how do you know it's a scam? Because nobody wants to fucking talk to you. That's why. Like, why?
Yeah. I'm telling you,
Nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody's gonna do this shit.
the world we're living in. But let's go back a little bit because I think and you're really showing the experience and but you've been doing this a long time. Tell the people how long you've been doing this.
About 15 years now because I started when I was
Okay.
21 and I'm 36.
Okay. And let me ask you, when did you decide? So 21, what at 21 went, boom, I want to do stand-up comedy.
I always loved stand up. My
Okay.
friends introduced me to George Carlin, and I got introduced to Carlin when
Did
he was doing You're All Diseased, Complaints and Grievances, like in his latter
did you
stages
did
of
you
his
meet
career.
him?
I never got to meet him. I never
I
got to see him
spoke to him on
live.
the phone. I spoke to him on the phone one time. I met
Oh,
Rodney
nice.
Dangerfield. I met Lewis Black, Stephen Wright, but
Hmm.
I spoke to George on the phone one time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. But it was like
Um,
you said later in his career.
yeah, but that's the Carlin that I liked because that was the
Okay,
Carlin that didn't give a shit anymore.
right.
That was tearing down like structures.
Yeah.
pointing out how stupid the shit is we believe, and I love that. I love I'm anti-authority.
Right. Right. Right.
I don't care for structures. I think everything we believe in is bullshit. There's no real meaning in anything other than what you want to attribute to it.
Right.
So I love that he was taking stuff like that down, because he was even taking down things that he believed in. Like he was
I
pointing out like how stupid some of the shit that he believes was. And
yeah.
I love that, because that's a level of self-awareness that people typically don't have. So I love that, but I didn't have, at the time I had horrible stage fright. I couldn't get on stage.
Okay.
So it was more just, all right, just take as much as this in and just enjoy it. And then when I was in college, I talked so much about stand up and like really wanting to try it. And my girlfriend at the time found an open mic up in Scranton at the Wisecrackers that was up there.
I've been to
And
Scranton. I've been to every part of Pennsylvania, obviously.
yeah. And she found an open mic on a Wednesday, I think. And she's like, you can sign up and you can go on. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So
Okay.
I did it. I got 5 minutes and it sucked. It was
Yeah.
awful, which
That
is
was
the
going to be
typical
my
story of
next question.
most comics don't do well the first time they go up.
Right.
And I was still dealing with stage fright at the time, and I was
Right.
just trying to get through things. And I remember at one point, like I was like, I'm an English major, and somebody in the audience goes, "Well, good luck making money with that." And I didn't have any skills to go like, "Shut your fucking mouth" or anything. I was just like, "Yeah, that's it. That's." I just went like, "That's a very good point. Thank
Oh
you."
God. Oh God.
Um, but the host
That's funny.
Terry Granahan, who is influential in why I'm still doing comedy, like encouraged me to come back the next week. She's like,
Try it again.
yeah, she's like, you got something, keep coming back. And then
Right.
I went back the second week. I had a way better set.
Okay.
And I just kept going and going and going,
Yeah.
and I just got better and better. My stage fright went away. I learned how to be me. It took me forever to learn how to be me, because from early on, like you're
Right.
taught,
Right.
like be clean, try to appeal to everybody, and I never did that.
Yeah.
I just
No.
couldn't. It's not the way
You're
I think. It's not the way that I write. So I struggled for a very long time figuring out how to be me and making that tolerable for people. But once I figured it out, things got a lot easier. I was able to write material quicker because I knew how to write for me to make myself palatable to people. And then also I learned just from all the like jobs that I've done over my life that I learn from failure way more than anything else. Like I will do something over and over and over, fucking it up from the beginning. But once I figure it out, I can
right.
do it with like my eyes closed. And it's been
Right.
that way with everything. So comedy kind of worked out in that way, because it really is trial and error. It's the only way to get really good at it is to try something, fail, and then learn from that, and then try it again, fail, learn from that, and then just
Yeah.
kind of repeating that over and over and over until you get something nice. And I like the process of it. I like taking an idea, throwing it out there, seeing how people react to it, and then adjusting it accordingly. Because it's the only real art form that does that. Because like music, you can practice and you can hear, okay, yeah, that does sound good. That'll work for people. Writing something like you'll have editors come in and check out your stuff and go, maybe adjust this here, adjust that there. Comedy's the only one that it's live and right there, that if they don't like it, you know it
Yeah.
immediately. And it's soul crushing and it hurts. But for some reason, there's part of me that's like, okay, I can learn from this though. And then I'll just come back the next time. And it's like, okay, that was a lot better. And then try it the next time. All right, that was even better than the last time. So I love that, because it's rewarding in probably the most soul crushing way imaginable.
You,
That's
you touched on
incremental.
you touched on something. I just want to interject real quick.
Yeah,
Have you heard of a comedian named Kathy Ladman?
I have not.
Kathy's been on was on the Tonight Show. She was on Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Okay.
and very, very, well respected comedian.
Hmm.
Kind of like, some of the other comedians I've met and, been able to, get a little
Yeah.
information from. And Kathy said to me, because I sent her something, I did some real controversial thing or whatever. And I
Hmm.
was starting to question. She said, Scott, just be true to yourself.
Hmm.
And it sounds like what you found that, look, whether my brother's upset that I do, and I have a vile tongue and No, I'm just not
Yeah.
scared to say, I'm not scared to say shit, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
say shit. And if that pisses you off, then go somewhere else. I like to say, like, when they're, how hard is it to just scroll the fuck away?
Yeah.
Why are you spending time fucking with me? I'm just
Right.
trying to make people laugh. What is your problem?
Yeah, there's enough shit out there that you can find something that you do like. You don't have to focus on the things that you don't. And I know that for me, for the things that I say, the things that I do, that means I have a limited audience. I'm fine with that. I don't care about fame and all of that shit. Would it be great? Of course it would. Like, who
Right.
wouldn't? You're lying if you're saying that you don't want that fame wouldn't be great. Now, whether or not you want those things is completely irrelevant, but just to have shit be easier for you to have money roll in, to have tons of people coming and watching,
Yeah,
you never
yeah,
have to worry about selling out, a venue.
yeah,
Of course, that would be great. But I also understand that what I do, I'm limited in that, and I'm fine with that. I make enough money to live.
yeah,
I'm cool. Like I don't
yeah, yeah.
like I'm content with what I have, and if I
That's
get
a
any
great
more,
place to
that makes me
be. That's a
happy.
great place
Yeah.
to be, Zach. It's like me. I mean, I'm 61 years old. I got
Hmm.
fired from telling my job. God willing, I'm still around. I'm going to
Yeah.
start getting Social Security here in a little bit. I own my house.
There you go.
I don't need, don't like it's funny because you are such a professional, and I'm so happy I got to meet you, and I'm
Thank you.
grateful, um, because you're putting in perspective a lot of what I'm dealing with, and it's like, look, I'm not talking about Biden, I'm not talking about Trump, I'm doing
Right.
fucking jokes.
Yeah.
I've done 102 live shows,
Hmm.
105 live shows, and I was doing two a week on YouTube.
Yeah.
And sometimes I had some people get on there, I had some trolls get on there and just flood everything. Like, what the
Hmm.
fuck? What is wrong with you? It
It's
baffles
just.
my mind. But you touched on it. The courage that people have online
Hmm.
is not the same as when which is ties into a question I have for you. Have you ever had anyone in the 15 years after a show come up to you? And because Blaine Capatch, comedian, another professional comedian I know, has had
Yeah.
people come up to him after a show.
Nobody's actually, to my remembrance, nobody's actively come up to me after a show. People are just like,
During,
whatever.
right.
During, however, yeah,
Yeah.
during has been a little different. There's a video on that so there's two instances that I remember vividly that actually almost went sideways. I was
Are,
in
are are
Virginia
they
a
are they
couple.
up? Can people see them?
One of them they can see. The other one, it
Is
just
it
isn't
what it's on
out
your
there.
YouTube channel?
It's not on my YouTube channel. So this is the one I
Okay.
was in Appalachian, New York. It's a shit area.
Okay.
And the audience that night was just they weren't good. And I'm only saying that in the sense that I was doing jokes that have worked everywhere. So I know these jokes work. It's not like
Right.
I'm going to try a new set tonight. If they don't like
Right.
it, it's
Right.
their
Right.
problem. No, I know this shit works. And they're just
I love you.
not getting it. And at the beginning of my set, somebody like called out because I do jokes about that getting a vasectomy because I never wanted
I,
kids.
I like that. Yeah.
And somebody called out, and I was like, "You need to shut your fucking mouth right now. I know what you're gonna do. You're not disrupting the show tonight. It, just shut your damn mouth." And they got up and they walked out. So I was like, "Cool, no problems." I was wrapping up my set. I had like 10 minutes to go. They came back in the room and they're like, "Are you ready to apologize to me now?" I was like, "You can go fuck yourself. I'm not apologizing to you." And then they sat down and they kept goading me. Like they kept
Yeah.
talking, and their own friends at their table were like, "Shut up! Like nobody wants to hear you."
Yeah.
And then I called her an asshole, and that got her to approach the stage. And it's like a small, maybe the stage is like 6 inches, maybe a foot tall. So she's standing at the lip of the stage, and she's going, "Say it, say it, say it." And I kept calling her an asshole. And I know what she wanted me to do was to call her a cunt so she would have a reason to swing at me. And I
Right.
was like, I'm not falling for that one. So I just went,
Right.
"No, you're an asshole." And eventually she swiped at the mic and tried to take the mic out of my hand, but she couldn't do that. So the owner of the venue came over,
That
got
point.
on
Yeah.
stage, took the mic away from me, put it back in the stand, and said, "All right, guys, show's over." And instead of kicking her out, they just ended the show because she was causing
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
Now, I don't. I didn't want any of that getting out there, not because it like I'm offended or that I'm
No,
ashamed
no,
of
I
it.
get it. It
It's
sends the
bullshit
wrong
that I
signal.
don't care for. But some other fucking comic on the show recorded the whole thing and then posted it on their Facebook, and then it
Oh,
ended up getting like 100,000 views or something
yeah,
like that. And again, everybody's on my side in the video. Nobody's just like,
yeah,
"What's
right,
that guy's
right,
problem?" But it's just like I didn't want it out there.
yeah,
And then somebody who's a comic took my shit without my permission and
yeah,
then put
yeah.
it out
That's not
there.
cool. That's
So
not.
it's out there somewhere. I don't
Well,
remember.
I didn't mean to. Look,
Oh no, 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 no,
I
no.
have,
I have no hangups about it. It's just one of those like I I don't I get that there's a market for bad shit happening at a comedy show because again,
yeah, but
negativity will rule all. It gets all the attention. I don't want that shit out there because I don't want negativity
you
to
felt violated, and you should have felt violated because that shouldn't have been out there without your approval.
no. Right, that's the
You
thing.
know,
And again, it's like I don't want more negative shit out there
no,
or people thinking that you can do that because that's another thing. Like if you're posting heckler videos, there
yeah,
comes a point where it's like, okay, now you're encouraging people to heckle you.
it,
And I'm very much I just want to do my act. That's what
right.
I
No,
want out
you're a
there.
pro.
Yeah.
It reminded me when you were saying that, I started laughing because my father used to say to me, this is true. My father used to
Mhm.
say, well, you might as well stay in trouble because you sure as hell can't keep out of it. That's true. That's a true story. But look, man, we're running out. We only got a few more minutes left.
Okay.
And I want you to cover all the dates you have coming up because I'm going to try and air this in the next week or so for you.
Yeah.
So cover all the dates you have, and then we're going to end with your comedy minute, okay?
I would say for all my dates, just go to zachhammond.net.
Okay,
All of
yeah, I have
my
that. I'm going to
dates.
include that. I
Yeah.
have your website, and
I
I'll include
know.
your YouTube and your TikTok. And you have Instagram too?
Yep, I got it
Okay,
all
yeah,
on
I
there.
did.
I'll give
I
you.
added you up on Instagram, as a
Okay.
matter of
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah, I don't know all of my dates by heart. So
No problem.
if you're wanting to see me, just go to my website,
Cool.
zachhammond.net. And I bought both domains, ZACK and ZACH, so you can't
Okay.
even spell it wrong.
Well, Zach, I got to tell you, man, I've done a lot of these, and you are a very, very impressive young man.
Thank you very
I wish
much.
you nothing but the best. And know this, I have nothing but the utmost admiration for anyone that's doing it because it takes a certain amount of balls to get up on stage or even sitting in front of a camera. I've had a lot of people say, "Yeah, I'd love to be on your comedy minute." I say, "Well, go ahead and." Well, I don't really. Well, if you don't want to be on the
Right, right.
camera, you're gonna have a hard fucking time doing. You're not gonna do very well as a comedian if you're gonna fucking.
No.
You kind of got to look into a camera at some point,
Yeah.
or you got to
Somebody's got to
stand in
see
front of
you.
people and talk at some point. Yeah, I'm no rocket scientist, but you'll be the first fucking. Hey, did you hear the one about the
You can
comedian
only
with a
have
bag
one
on
Mitch
his head?
Hedberg.
Comedian with a bag on his head.
Right.
Well, look, let's do it, man. You know what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Okay. So I was trying to figure this
It's
out.
got to be better than eating mushrooms and climbing up in a tree.
All right, so I was trying to figure this out, and I
Yeah,
asked my girlfriend for things that make me laugh, and she's like, "You always bring up this story for no." I was like, "Okay, so
wonderful.
um, I come from a very dysfunctional family, which most comics
Yeah.
do. My dad has some type of bipolar disorder. My
Okay.
brother did as well, and when we were growing up, my brother's just out of his damn mind. He's good now, but
Right.
then he wasn't so much.
Right.
And before I was getting ready to go to college, because I went to college in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Um, about a month before like the summer was over, my parents decided to get divorced. And then my girlfriend, who I was with for like 4 or 5 years, broke up with me over the phone. Well, actually, her boyfriend broke up with me over the phone, and that was also her step cousin at the same time.
Oh, good
So my
Lord.
girlfriend left me for her step cousin. My
This
parents were
is
getting
getting better and
divorced.
better.
I'm about to move away to a place that I've never been before,
Right.
around people that I don't know. And my brother, who just is fucking nuts,
Right.
there would be random nights where he'd be on the phone with his girlfriend screaming at her and not like yelling, just going for no fucking reason. He would just do this shit to her. And I remember I'm in my parents' room. I'm looking at them. I'm going, you guys are getting divorced. My girlfriend left me for her step cousin. I'm about to move to Pennsylvania where I know nobody and start a new life. why the fuck am I doing any of this? My dad looked at me sternly and went, because it's your future. And I swear to God, my brother from down the hallway, we just hear him go, oh. And my dad looked right at me and he went, and that's our future. And it was the fucking most perfect cosmic timing thing I've
What does
ever
your brother
felt.
say? Because he keeps cutting out when you. What did your brother
Oh,
say?
he would just go, like he would just make guttural screaming noises. They weren't, he wouldn't say a word. He would just like some fucking Star Wars monster scream. Like that was what he would do all the time for no reason.
Okay. Yeah, it took you describing it because it keeps cutting out whenever you try to do the
Yeah, I
noise.
it's probably the microphone. So
No,
thanks.
yeah, no, but because the noise would be great because I was trying to picture your brother.
Yeah, that's the shit
That's
he
what it
would
is,
do.
right? And your
Like he'd
parents
be
go,
on,
that's our reality.
yeah, that's their future. It was cosmically, it was the most perfect comedic thing that's ever happened
That's
to
wonderful.
me.
Well, cool. Hang out for a minute. I'm going to stop
Yeah,
the
of
recording.
course.
We only got a couple minutes left, but I
Okay.
want to talk to you off the air for a minute,
Hmm.
okay?
Definitely.
Thank you so much. God bless you. I had a wonderful time.
I had a fun time. This
And
was
I'll tell
great,
you
man.
what,
Thank you.
we'll do another one of these. We'll catch up in a couple months. See how you're doing.
Hell yeah, I'd love that.
Okay, cool. Hang out for a second. I just want to stop the recording.